another episode of Anderson TV. I'm Josiah Summers Anderson. So, yeah, we finally made it to season 40 of Anderson TV. So, yeah, we're making tremendous progress. And I will say this, and of course, I will be saying this for all the times I'm doing my videos. So, if you are new, please subscribe. Like if you are interested, comment what you think, share with everyone you know, and turn on post notifications. So, with that out of the way, so today we're going to talk about the pioneers of my values. So, yeah, so what I mean by pioneers, not like the old Western type of pioneers. I mean pioneers as in like creators. I mean cultivators, people who planted the seeds of like the values that I have right now. So anyway, people who inspire me is what I'm going to talk about. So I made a slideshow that I will show you guys um, about the people who inspire me. So, anyways, and there will be some people that will not be on the slideshow, but one person that you all should know. So, who will it be? We will find out in this episode. We'll be right back. All right, so this is the presentation that I have made. So let's go here. So the pioneers of my values, or people who pretty much inspire me and pretty much should inspire all of you. So Charlie Kirk, very, very nice guy, and I miss him dearly. And I'm sure that all of you miss him dearly as well. So about him, he was the founder of Turning Point USA and an activist for conservative values. So the reasons why that he inspired me so much is because he educated college students on the indoctrination on college campuses. Well, yeah. So even I'm seeing a little bit of it, and I'm just starting out. So yeah, I'm seeing a little bit of what Kirk was talking about in a college setting. Of course, I haven't been here long enough to actually see it come through. So he openly expressed his Christian values. So, which, yeah, because we are a Christian nation, and stood up for Gen Z when it comes to economic troubles. How do I know? Watch his interview with Tucker Carlson about him questioning like what is the Republican plan for like improving like the economy when it comes to Gen Z, because it is pretty much because of the older generations that um, that oppose war but actually are for it and ruin the economy, Reaganomics and stuff of that matter. So that I can agree that completely gutted our economy at a point of no return. So and helped Trump win the 2024 election with the Gen Z vote. Let's move on. Vince Everett Ellison, author, commentator. You guys should check out his speeches that he gives to the Young America's Foundation. So the reason why that he inspires me so much, also check out his YouTube channel, of course, which I will post in the description. So the reason why Vince Everett Ellison inspired me so much because he educated people on how the Democratic Party exploited minorities throughout history. So it is from its inception in the 1800s to today. So there is this lie going around, and I was taught this lie for the first time in eighth grade that somehow the party's changed. I explained this in one episode where that I openly expressed my switch to the Republican Party is that the big switch was a big lie. So it's just to catch us off guard and stood up for patriotism and unity regardless of race. Patriotism isn't just for one race, it's for everybody. I mean, you were born here in America, so why can't you be patriotic about it? And taught very important lessons on masculinity. So, which we definitely need more of in this country. And warn people about degenerate pop culture. So, that is another thing that makes Vince Everett Ellison the second person on my list. So, yeah, he warned about pop culture being so degenerate. We have rap music, rappers and gangster um, rappers and hood culture and stuff of that matter that is absolute degeneracy. It talks about violence, sex, drugs, and stuff of that matter. So, but I'm not going to criticize what people listen to or anything of that matter. I'm just pointing out what is happening. So let's move on. Tucker Carlson. So, it's the founder of Tucker Carlson Network and is a former Fox News host. So Tucker actually made some changes to himself since because he worked at cable news a lot that he changed his former neocon views after the Iraq War. So he was one of the people saying that, oh, we should invade Iraq. Oh, we should invade a country in the Middle East. So, but until he realized that he was in the wrong, changed his views around. So he's a paleo conservative, kind of like me. I mean, I believe in America first. I believe in America only. So paleo conservatism is the reason why that my views kind of align with Tucker Carlson's. So he spoke out against mainstream narratives from the U.S. government, educate Americans about the truth about COVID, 9/11, wars in the Middle East and Eastern Europe, and vice versa. So yeah, he recently made a documentary on the truths about 9/11. And what we're being told about 9/11 is actually not true. Um, and COVID, he made a documentary last year, about a year ago, about COVID and the supposed origins of COVID and Dr. Fauci. Wars in the Middle East and in Eastern Europe. This is how I have my views on Ukraine, that I do not support them. And that doesn't mean I support Russia either. So I support none of those groups. Thomas Sowell. So we're right back to the original Thomas Sowell. So he's 95 years old today. So he's a senior fellow at the Hoover Institution and an economist. Also a commentator. I should have put that. So the reason why that Thomas Sowell inspired me the most is because he stood for meritocracy. Yeah. So I mean, race did not matter much to him, and it shouldn't matter to anybody. So he advocated for a free market and criticized detrimental government welfare, which brings to the subject of the SNAP benefits crisis or something that matters. So because government welfare, it will leave you dependent, which is why welfare should be a temporary thing rather than something permanent. That's why it's a safety net, not a hammock. And criticize socialism and Marxist policies. So, and President Donald J. Trump. So, yeah, he's the president and used to be a businessman, hosting The Apprentice and stuff of that matter. So, I only like the 2016 version of President Trump. When he was running in 2016, I like the 2016 version of Trump until he picked Pence. And but 2025, I'm not so sure. So, but of course, he's doing great things, others that we need to have a serious conversation about. So, he stood up for Obama's administration and the Clinton and the Bush dynasties, and he spoke out against the lawfare during the Biden presidency because absolutely a lot. I mean, the Justice Department, they were about to imprison him while he was running for president. And he acknowledged the U.S. Mexico border crisis during Biden administration, which gone completely bizarre. And Representative Thomas Massey, the only member of Congress right next to Marjorie Taylor Greene, so only Republican Congress member who doesn't receive funding from APAC. And APAC stands for the America Israel um, uh, Public Affairs Committee, I believe, or Political Action Committee or something like that. Let me know in the comments if I got it right. So he stood against fiscal irresponsibility from both Democrats and Republicans. I actually liked his position on what he thought about the Big Beautiful Bill because I was a bit skeptical about the Big Beautiful Bill as well. What I was mostly skeptical about is the no regulation on AI for 10 years in local conditions. So, and that is absolutely alarming. Why would you put that in the bill? So, Massey, he actually questions people by actually reading what the bill says, which some people in Congress don't even do. They just they just come up with like I bet the title of it and the idea of it, but not the full text behind it. So those are the one of the things I like about him. So free speech absolutist. He's definitely for free speech and Second Amendment defender because we need it. Ron Paul, Dr. Ron Paul, he's still alive today. He turned 90 this year. He's a libertarian activist and a former U.S. congressman. He stood up against U.S. involvement in wars abroad, exposed the military industrial complex for many people knew of it. I mean, it was something that you probably heard of in books and stuff, which I don't think a lot of people actually heard of back then in 2008. Because in the mainstream, there was McCain in 2008. In 2012, it was Romney and Obama until 2016. So, military industrial complex. So, it is a thing. And Dwight Eisenhower, he even warned about this. So, an advocate for fiscal responsibility, which we definitely need. So, and Marjorie Taylor Greene. She is one of the only Republican members of Congress who refuses money from APAC. So, questioning the Republican establishment. I saw her interview. Was it Tim Dillon, I believe? Questioning like what is the Republican position for healthcare? So, isn't there an alternative? Because alternative to like the Obamacare, which raised healthcare prices, which is why that which is why the health insurance companies, of course, they have no choice but to deny some claims. They have no choice of that. Is because government regulated healthcare. Obamacare is the closest thing that we have to universal healthcare, which will make the situation worse. So, universal healthcare is an ideal thing, but it's not realistic. I mean, look at Canada. I mean, yeah, they have free healthcare, but you have to wait 6 months or a year to actually get like results from a test or something like that you've done at the doctor's office, and you have long wait times and vice versa. So, anyways, these are all the people who built my values. my political views mostly. So, how did this person come here? Oh, wait, my Lord and Savior. As far as my religious views. So, yeah, I accepted Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior a month ago. So, back then I was a bit hesitant about like Christianity. Of course, I was raised by my grandmother who used to be a pastor at her church. So, hmm, anyways, yeah, that's why I accepted Jesus as my Lord and Savior. Now, for those of the people that are not on my list, I will say this. Um, for people who pretty much inspire me the most, I would say family, my grandmother. So even though that I will always take it for granted that yeah, she'll always have like her sermons, her small sermons and stuff of that matter. When she's talked to different people. I mean, when we go on rides in the Uber, she would minister to um the drivers. Even though the drivers never really asked for it, of course, she would do it anyway. So, anyways, and my grandmother said that we come from a family of leaders, families of teachers, pastors, instructors, and stuff of that matter. So I always said that I want to become an actual classroom teacher. I'm a substitute teacher now, so um, that's I'm kind of getting into the idea. So, anyways, like say, thank my friends as well. Of course, Caitlin. Of course, yeah, me and her will always have like conversations about politics and most definitely food and stuff that matters. So, and let's see, the four guys that I met at BCM, um, Braden, Dylan, James, and Nathan. So, and mainly the reason why that I decided to accept Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior because I was a bit hesitant about it. So, because I thought that well something will change. I of course I'm quite fearful of change, but yeah, I can still be interested in politics, but still get in the work. So so anyway, but more importantly, I'd like to thank those guys for inspiring me and being with me like every step of the way of my spiritual journey. So anyway, and my teachers as well that I had throughout the years. Um, and the most notable ones, my elementary school teachers, middle school teachers, my high school teachers. Of course, I learned quite a lot from them, and even my mentors that I had throughout the years in school. I mean, yeah, shout out to them as well. So there are other people that inspire me that are not pretty much political. Like Jack McCoy from Law and Order, Sam Waterston played him. He's no longer the DA in fictional New York City, but he was a great prosecutor, very great. So, anyways, he inspired like the law side, the order side of Law and Order. So he would do everything possible in order to win a case, even cheat. Well, I would never cheat on anything, but that's just him. That's just Jack McCoy. That's how he's used to do things. And Olivia Benson from Law and Order SVU. She gone from a detective to a sergeant to lieutenant, now captain of the entire special victims unit. She came a long way in 26 years. Most definitely a long way that she came since 1999 with her partner, Elliot Stabler. Now, the show is not the same without him in it, but he comes back every now and then, but they're working in different units. So, anyways, when it comes to like leadership, of course, y'all would like to look up to like leaders. I look up to my teachers. I look up to my mentors. I look up to my grandmother. I look up to President of the United States if I have to, and among other people that I will look up into. But more importantly, the greatest mentor, the greatest father, the greatest leader of them all is the one who sits high on the throne. You know who that is? Jesus Christ. So we'll be right back. All right, everyone. So that is it for this week's episode of Inerson TV. So, like I said at the beginning, if you are new, please subscribe and stay up to date on the latest from Inerson TV. So anyways, I'm thinking about doing like more interviews before the year is over. So there will be a link in the description that takes you to a Google form where that I will either interview you in person or virtually. So if you want to talk about like politics or history, education, or if you want to teach me something new, I mean something that I have never pretty much heard of before. So we could do that interview virtually or in person here at the LSU West Noel Memorial Library podcasting room. We can do that. So anyway, that'll be in the description for you. So anyways, I understand that, well, November, of course, I'm almost there at the end of the fall semester. So I'm thinking about for next year, I want to come up with like more ideas that I would do for next year. So I'm going to start some sort of like live stream town hall. I want to start some sort of virtual town hall for Inerson TV. That will be sometime. I want to do it before Thanksgiving. So yeah, I want to do it sometime within the week of Thanksgiving that November. So that you guys will probably come up with like some ideas or something like that. But first, I need to come up with some sort of live stream system that actually allow group chat, allow like someone to welcome, because I can't use Instagram Live anymore. I need 1,000 followers for that, which is absolutely stupid. So apparently that they're creating it for like the big influencers. So anyways, that is it for this episode. I'm Josiah Summers Anderson signing off. Goodbye, everyone. God bless. And I'll see you all in the next episode.